Welcome back. Today we're going to look at the Microsoft Entra Conditional Access Optimization Agent, powered by Security Copilot. This agent reviews your conditional access setup, highlights coverage gaps or overlaps, and recommends improvements, including creating or updating policies based on Microsoft best practices. I'll show you where to enable it, how to run it, and how to work through the recommendations safely, including what it can remediate with a click. So let's jump into the portal. Okay, so we're in Entra, we're in the Conditional Access Policies page. As you can see, I do have quite a few conditional access policies already set up. So we have 25, most of them are currently in report only mode, but there are a few that have been turned on. One thing worth noting is I have set this up previously, I have run this previously, but that was quite a while ago. So what we can do is if we go to, we can see you can start the agent directly from the conditional access page, or you can start the agent just below home where it says Security Copilot Agents. So let us start that and let's see what we get. Okay, might take a minute or two to start. Okay, looks like that's run. So on the conditional access optimization agent, what can we see? We can see the agent's currently running. We can see users with improved average, with improved coverage. So far everything is on 0 because this is the first time it's running since we've set it up. So we can see that it is running through all the policies, and in fact this is a bit of an update since the last time I ran this. So it looks like Microsoft have made some improvements to the policy, which is great to see. Okay, so we'll let that run for a few minutes and then we'll be back. Okay, and we're back. It has finished running, and let's see what we have. So we do have some suggestions. Let's have a look. Create a new policy to enforce device compliance. Yep, that's a good one. New policy requiring Microsoft managed remediation for high-risk users. Yeah. New policy to block device code flow, and review policy for no break glass counts domain controller. So some of these policies I did have previously, but I deleted them just to see if Security Copilot would make suggestions for them. So that's great. What else can we see? Go to activities. Yeah, we can see when it ran, last time it ran. We can click on view activities, and what do we get? Okay, so this shows you how Security Copilot has run, and we can zoom in. We can see that it did start, and we can see that it started looking at all the different policies available. It would merge policies if needed, scanned all the policies. So this is really, really good. Analyzing break loss account exclusions. Create one policy review recommendations. So this is really good, really interesting to show you exactly what Security Copilot has done. Brilliant. Okay, so let's go back out of there. Sorry, let's go back in there. Let's see what else we have. So suggestions, again, this shows the policies that it is suggesting we create. Reporting, so that's a preview feature. That's quite good. And then settings. So this is really interesting. So you can schedule it to run once every 24 hours, or you can also schedule it, or at least get it to automatically run each time there are changes to new policies. So that's really useful. If you want to save some money, you can turn that off and get that to run every 24 hours. And then if you wanted to, you can actually turn that off and just run it whenever you want. So analyze tenant. So if you disable your SKUs and then enable them once a day or once a week, you can enable them and then just trigger that to run when required. Let's save that quickly. Let's have a look at some of the capabilities when that's finished. Okay, so that's also new. Okay, allow agent to automatically create policies in report only mode. So I think that used to be enabled. That's interesting. Allow the agent to apply a row-less approach to deploying conditional access, starting with groups. So, and adopt passkey campaigns. So those are really interesting. Let's actually save those. And then I'm going to run this again and just see what it does. Okay. I'll wait for that to save. Can we move? Yeah, we can move on. Good. So notifications. So looks like you can allow notifications to be sent when new suggestions are available. Really nice feature. Doesn't seem to be available right now, but that could be because those policies are still saving. Knowledge sources. Okay. Okay. So if you have some policies within your organization, you can upload those, and Security Copilot will take that into consideration. Plugins, permissions, and then users who can use it. Brilliant. Let's go back there. Yep. Okay, so you can enable those notifications. Now that we've made some changes, let's run that again and let's see what that does. What is really useful, and I might have mentioned it in the previous video, is the conditional access agent is really has been developed really well in terms to use as little SCUs as possible, so we can see that initial run only used 0.13 SCU. So really good. Means it's not going to be very expensive to run these, so definitely worth keeping an eye on that. Okay, we'll quickly finish running this again and just see if there is any additional recommendations. And there we go, all done. So that's finished running. Hopefully that's I can't see any new policies that's been created, so that's quite interesting. Let's run into that view activity. The one new user unprotected set and conditional access policy. Okay, so it has found something. Can see I have run it a few times, so even after running it I think 4 or 5 times, 4 times now, it's still used less than 1 SCU, so very good. And we can now see deploy passkey adoption campaign for admins has been suggested, so that's really good. Let's go back to the conditional access policies and let's see if we have anything new in here. So we can see 5 suggestions. Let's go to the suggestions. Oops. Let's go back there. Let's go to conditional access policies. Let's go to the policies. And let's see what we have in here. So 5 policy suggestions. And we can see now that there are alerts and phased rollout available. So these phased rollouts are obviously now coming from, some of these might be some of the previous suggestions I had from Security Copilot. Let us see, password change, MFA. Okay, so let us go back to the suggestions. And do we now need to review the campaign? Review campaign. Deploy campaign. So that's where we do it from. Brilliant. So you can now review all of the recommendations and then deploy them before, where previously they deployed them for you. Okay, so that's really good. Let's have a look at that one. Deploy passkey campaign for admins. Okay, so we can see it is still currently deploying. Let us go and review the campaign. So we click on campaign, passkey adoption campaign for administrators. We can see that the campaign has started. Require passkey registration. Fantastic. Let's go back to the conditional access policies. And are there any in here? Block travel policy. So it looks like those campaigns are still available. Okay. Let's view another one and we'll see what that says. Okay. So this is to block device code flow, and we can see review policy, create policy. So let us create that policy. Let's go back to conditional access policies. We'll just hit a refresh and we can see there's now 26 policies, and there we go. Block device code flow, conditional access optimization agent policy has been created, and we can see it is in report only mode. So that brings us to the end of the demo. Hopefully you found that useful, and by all means, give it a go, give it a try. Thank you. So that's the conditional access optimization agent in action. We enabled the agent, ran an evaluation, and reviewed the recommendations it produced, focusing on where conditional access coverage can drift over time as users, apps, and access patterns change. The big value here is that it helps you answer the practical questions. Are we constantly enforcing the controls we think we are enforcing? And it does it by recommending improvements aligned to common best practices, like requiring MFA, enforcing device-based conditions, and addressing risky flows such as legacy authentication. Also, remember the agent keeps you in control. It's producing suggestions and gives you a path to remediate, but you should still treat it like any other security changes. Validate, scope, check exclusions, and roll changes out safely. Thanks for watching. Till next time.